Hello, this is Corey Grimmick, the director of the Portland District Library. Welcome to our yarn art instructional video. You have picked up a bag that contains a frame, a wooden frame, different colors of yarn, and a bottle of tacky glue. You'll have to provide some scissors, and if you wanted to paint your frame, some paint and a paintbrush. This is actually a very easy craft, so the creativity and the fun comes in choosing your colors, your color scheme, and how you're going to put, like what size yarn balls you're going to put in, and what color, what order you want them to be. And I have discovered that this is a very, very soothing pandemic time craft. I was creating these yarn balls so that I'd have something to start with. Sorry, I went out of frame there. I was creating these yarn balls so I'd have something to start with, and I found it very, very, very soothing to make the yarn balls. So hopefully you will agree with me. So my yarn was white and blue, different colors of blue, and I started out some yarn balls so that you could see what I was starting with. I'm going to make a yarn ball and glue it in. So like I say, if you want to leave the frame this wooden color, you can leave it that color, or, you know, if I were going to paint this, maybe I would paint it gray, because that would go nicely with my blue and white color scheme, or I could do the white, or I could choose some color of blue. I'm just going to leave it wood frame for right now, because I'm going to save the frame for another project, so I'm not really going to glue my balls in. You all have different, we have different size frames, different depths of the frame, and different shapes. So that's another part of the creativity. You can decide how big you want them to be. As you can see, my balls are pretty big. I brought them up to the edge of the frame, but because they're bigger, there's a little more gap between the yarn balls. I can tip it up. There's a little more of a gap between the yarn balls. All the more reason why maybe I would want to paint the inside of my frame. I could paint it like navy blue or white, and then that wouldn't be so noticeable. If I had made the balls smaller, like maybe if I had made them come halfway up the frame, then there would be less space, less gappage in between them. So I made a lovely white and a light blue and a dark blue. And now I'm going to make another white one, mainly because I'm a little bit of a cheater and this white yarn is really thick. So it's not going to take me as long. So I know that you want to get started on making your yarn art and you don't want to sit and watch a really long video with me. So basically what we want to do is we want to start out with a little bit of the yarn clumped together. So what I did is I just wrapped it around my finger 2 or 3 times and then pulled it off, and then just sort of squished it together and started wrapping the yarn. So hopefully you could see that pretty well. You could just like crumple it together and then start winding it. For some reason I find it easier just wrap it 1, 2, 3, pull it off my finger, and then just start wrapping the yarn around. So it's pretty small right now, so I only get it around like twice. Then I rotate my yarn ball 90 degrees and then wrap it around another 1, 2 times. Still pretty small, so I rotated 90 degrees and wrap it. You don't have to do just perpendicular wraps of the yarn. Like you could just go whoop, whoop around this way, turn it, and then keep going around. To get a fuller yarn ball, I would recommend doing sort of the in-betweens too. So then you turn it 90 degrees, you do some straight ones, maybe do like off 45 degrees to the side. This is so mathematical. Who knew this art project was going to involve so much math, so many angles? And basically you just wrap it around. The great thing about this fuzzy yarn that I have is that it's very forgiving. But as you can see with my other yarn balls, they're a little off kilter. This one especially is a little off kilter, but it's pretty forgiving. You know, the yarn, you're making a ball and the yarn will forgive you. I think that if you came up with one that was super cattywampus and off kilter, then you might want to start over. But like I say, this is very soothing to do. So you can always just unwind it if you are not happy with the shape or the configuration of your ball. You can just unwind it and start over again. So you just keep winding. Every once in a while I put it in there to see you know, how far I'm going. And as you can see, this ball is smaller. So had I gone with smaller balls, then they would be closer together. If you have a lot of different yarn colors and you're figuring out your color scheme, then maybe you'll want to make smaller, tinier balls. Like had I made, you know, let me finish this ball and then we'll talk about the variations. So just keep winding the yarn. Soothe. You can listen to music while you're doing this. Maybe you have someone else with you and you can have a chat with them. All right, when it's the size you want it to be, then you just cut the yarn. My scissors are not the sharpest, so don't make fun of me when you see me, just for having dull scissors. And then you just take oops, I didn't take the cover off my glue. Your glue bottle, you will probably have to cut the tip off of your glue bottle because yours is brand new. But just cut the tip off. You can use like a X-Acto knife if you have something, or scissors. Usually you can just, especially if you have those kitchen utility scissors. Then just put just a little spot of glue, just a little, doesn't have to be a ton, because the yarn sticks pretty well, and then just put it down. I have that wasn't particularly great glue placement. I'll put another dollop right there just so that I get this end down. And if it doesn't look great, you know, like if you think it looks messy, then that's the side you can put down inside the frame. That one is a little bit bigger than the other ones. So let's say that I wanted a variation of this. And so I'm gonna wrap this around my finger, 1, 2, pull it off, and then start winding. Oh, is that very good one? That's not very good winding. Let me start over. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna do 3 because I'm fancy. All right, and then start winding my yarn ball. So if your frame is really shallow, then you might want to make smaller yarn balls for that reason too. Let's just say, all right, making a yarn ball. I often have trouble committing to color schemes, so that's why I only have 3 colors of yarn, because otherwise I would probably, this video would be like 6 hours long, and you'd get very bored of me saying like, oh, I don't know though, maybe I should put this color next. Probably other people are less wishy-washy than I, and hopefully you will figure out something that you think is lovely. Okay, so I'm gonna make this size of ball. Cut my yarn, put a little dollop of glue, and all right, so now I have this size. So had I chosen to, let me take these balls out. Oop, out you go. Had I chosen to, I could have done much smaller balls. And then that's just a different look, you know? It's up to you if you want. To me, these large balls are just kind of big and cozy. It's kind of like a rustic. If this were food, we would say it was a rustic dish. As you can tell, I watch too much Chopped and other cooking competitions. So the big balls are more rustic looking. The small balls are gonna look more regimented, I think. And you can do a lot more with color variation, because as you can see, whoops, let's not put that 2 whites next to each other. The big balls, I'm gonna have fewer of them, obviously, and so the variations are different. So like I could put the 2 whites together. I could do this whole bottom white and then go, well, let's see, do I want to go lighter and then darker to dark? I don't know. Or I could alternate. Ooh, you know what I could do? I'm gonna lay this down again, you'll still be able to see. I could do, make like a diagonal. We're gonna pretend like this is another yarn ball. Boop. Then I could make like a diagonal line of the white and then do everything on this side the light blue and everything on this side the dark blue. There's a ton of things you can do. You could, if you have rainbow colors, you can make a rainbow in an arch. Let me take all this out. Boop, 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 boop. You could make like a rainbow in an arch. You could, oh my gosh, I'm very excited. I'm one of the few people who loves winter and cold weather and snow. So I just got really excited because I was like, ooh, what if you made an argyle pattern? Like you could choose a base color and make bigger balls and then make a diamond of smaller, no, not smaller. You could choose a base color. Like let's say I was gonna have this navy blue be my base color. Where did my other tiny, oh, there it is. So then I could make a diamond out of the white. And then I could make tiny, tiny, tiny little like light blue ones and then do the argyle because there's like a diamond and then the argyle has like an X through it. The possibilities are endless. You could make sweater patterns, you could make nature patterns, whatever you want to do, basically. And that's why I say that the fun comes from the creativity of this, figuring out your color scheme and your pattern and how you want to do that. And then basically you just put a little bit of glue on your yarn ball, maybe a little bit more this time. Oops, sorry, that was on the screen. And just glue your yarn ball in. You might need to hold it for a couple seconds. Or you could put your yarn ball in if you had something heavy, like if you had a book that fit inside there or something metal or something, a rock. I don't know, you can put whatever you want in there. It's actually sticking pretty well. Didn't fall out. That's the glory of tacky glue. And there you go. You just glue your yarn balls in. And that is the entire craft. So if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to send me, I would love, 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 love to see a picture of your finished yarn art project. If you want to email it to me, I'm going to email you the link to this video, so you could always reply to that, but it's CGRIMMINCK@PortlandMILibrary.com, which is very long, but yeah, if you wanted to send me a picture of your yarn art, I would love to see it, or if you wanted to bring it into the library, I'd take a picture of it myself. So that is the yarn art project, and thank you very much for participating. Bye.